So our word for today is the law. It sounds like a really exciting thing, doesn't it? Well, that's what our first reading and our gospel are certainly about. And as I was growing up in the 1960s, there was a very popular rock and roll song called I Fought the Law and the Law Won. How many of you remember this besides me? Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the oldest one here. Okay, it was about a thief who went on this burglary spree and was caught, and I presume was arrested, put in prison. And there's something about a 6-gun shootout in there that I can't remember exactly. But you see the bad things that happen when the law wins. What's quite different in the gospel, God's law always wins. That's the whole point, by the way, of the book of Revelation. God always is going to win eventually, whether you like it or not. And today, in our gospel, we see what happens when we ignore that law of God. There's killing, there's anger, there's using another person for our own delight. There is lying, dishonesty. All these things start to happen. And what these things do is they keep us from becoming the person that God created us to be. A Christian, a person with meaning in life, a person who can love. And so Jesus comes and teaches us a law, and it's the law of love. And so we see Jesus saying, let us counteract that, which was actually the gospel before this, which was the Beatitudes, that we become people who are reconciling with one another, forgiving one another, people who respect one another for who they are, people who love one another, people who are honest and humble with one another. All of these Christian attributes are part of the law of God. And in following those, we actually do become the children of God that he calls us to be every day. That we live a life filled with peace and purpose and joy. All of this is happening. Because really, if you ask anyone what they really want in life, what is it you really want? And they may say many things. I want this, I want that, I want this person or that person, whatever it is. Ultimately, it's to become happy. Something that we want, we think will make us happy. And Jesus is teaching us, here is the way to be happy by following this law of love, which involves reconciliation, forgiveness, humility, honesty, all these wonderful things that are part of life that we can employ in our own lives every day. So, if that's true, that all these good things happen, and if it's also true that God's law always wins anyway, the question comes, why would we fight it? Why would we fight that law in the first place? Well, because sometimes that law is hard. Sometimes the law is hard to deal with and to obey. Sometimes we become forgetful. Sometimes we become momentarily selfish. Whatever it is, it's not always the easiest thing to be a person who forgives or reconciles or is honest or is humble or all those different things. Sometimes that requires a lot of hard work out of us. But Jesus is letting us know he's there, helping us to do that very thing. And in the end, if we follow that law, our lives will have meaning and hope and peace and happiness. So today, we thank God for his law. And we thank God that his law always wins. Because when God's law wins, so do we.